Hello and welcome to Leadership Enablement and Development podcast, a new initiative from Nirveda. This is the show for leaders, all about leadership and its impact. And on this episode, have you ever struggled with listening to your inner voice? Well, that's exactly what we are going to help you with on this week's show, where you will learn how to convert your inner conscious into your coach. I'm your host, Sudhakar, a certified coach. I will be kidding if I ask you whether you know what is inner conscious. Let me ask you a different question. Have you ever thought of converting this inner conscious into your best buddy? That is your inner coach? Every leader, be it at a junior level or a CXO level, can convert his or her inner voice or conscious into decision-making guide, and more importantly, can transform that into an inner coach. We as human beings are gifted by this unique gift, that is our inner conscious, which is part of us throughout our life's journey. In the thick and thin of our life, it constantly and continually speaks to us, be it negative or positive. Bob Anderson and Bill Adams, in their book Mastering Leadership, refers to it as conscious competence. We are always playing two games, an outer game and an inner game. The outer game of leadership consists of leadership competencies such as developing technical or managerial skills needed to accomplish results. Most efforts to build mastery in leadership focus on the outside game of competence. The inner game comprises the leader's meanings such as making system, the underlying beliefs and the assumptions developed over time. The way the individual makes sense of the world. All competencies are built on the inner game, on the platform of consciousness. The better the outer game and the more mature the inner game, the more effective the person's leadership skills. Having said so, now let us look at how to develop trusting our inner conscious. At a certain point, leaders must learn to trust their inner conscious or intuition or inner voice. Whether we call it the inner voice or just a gut feeling, that instinct is the accumulation of knowledge and experience and is worth listening. Let me share an example, one of my personal experiences to make our understanding better. In one of my corporate roles as a leader of life sciences healthcare analytics projects, we were pitching for a multi-million-dollar project and we are at the final stages of closing the deal. The rate was the deciding factor and our bid team suggested a lower price than our competitors as they had some intelligence about it. My inner conscious said that we should not lower the cost, as our delivery was top class in comparison to our competitors, and I have given my decision to the bid team. With much hesitation, they have sent the quotes. Finally, we won the deal, but the client has split the project amongst two partners, that is between the competitor and us. We have got 25% and the competitors have gained 75% of the project. The whole bid team, including my leadership team, pointed finger at me for the debacle. I took things on my stride and my team started delivering with the highest quality. And over a period of 6 months, we have got the complete project. This is an example of inner voices, accumulation of knowledge and experience, and it has tremendously helped me by listening to it. Hope you might have come across such experiences. Having said so, you as a leader may have a fear of the unknown and struggle to go with your intuition. Yes, I agree, and it is not an overnight thing. That is, you decide one night and from tomorrow you start going with your inner conscious. Making decisions based on the past is a bit like driving into the future using only our rear view mirror. This view of the world has a significant impact on the leader's ability to understand the difference between what is possible and what is probable. Our patterns of actions and habits of thought ensure that we continue to see things linearly and sequentially, driven always by cause and effect mode of thinking. It is a gradual process. One may come across a couple of failures. We have to face it to start building it. Also, a leader can engage an executive coach as it would be a good start to assess your present situation and discover your true leadership style and build on it. You may be wondering what executive coaching is all about. Let me quickly bring you up to the speed as what coaching is all about. In the last 6 years, Since I've started practicing coaching, I've been closely following world leading coaches to figure out what is that they all have in common, and according to them, what is the best definition of coaching. If I had to boil it down to one sentence, it would be that they focus less on the result and more on the process. And they recognize that character is what drives the process, which operates the result. To put it quite simply, coaching is a process that aims to improve performance and focuses on the here and now rather than on the distant past or future. Coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their performance. It is helping them to learn rather than teaching them. Having understood the definition of coaching, let us look at converting our inner conscious into a coach. We all know that no one can access our inner thoughts except for us. I would call it our private voice. I want to take it a step further. How helpful is that private voice? Is it a voice you would be proud to have displayed on the wall, particularly during tough times? How does it speak to you? Is it a coach that is giving you powerful positive messages that help you? Alternatively, is it working to break you down, to cause you more grief, more pain, more stress? Moreover, once you begin to realize that voice is almost always saying something, and then to start to take more responsibility for how that voice is speaking to you, and recognizing that this voice will be the only voice that's with you until your death. We want that voice to be someone who is a contributor to your life. Let me sum up. And it would be that our private voice can either help us out or break us down. However, it is the only voice that will be with us until our death. I want you to put yourself in the situation. You are in a crucial meeting with your whole team and your seniors and peers watching you. Things are going wrong for you. Things are going crazy for your team. What if at that moment the thoughts that you were thinking scrolled across the bottom of the screen on which you were presenting to everyone in the boardroom to see how would that make you feel? The exciting thing about this is when we think negatively, not only are we competing against our opponent, we also are competing against ourselves. So we have to turn our private voice into our inner coach so that when we go through those tough times, our inner coach can guide us through them. To make this understanding better, let me give you all an example from my personal life. These situations fires me up every time I recollect of it. Back in the year 2007, when I was trying my hand at the stock market, I was lucky and could earn a couple of lakhs. This luck converted into greed, and my inner conscious commanded me to double the investment, which I have followed. Eventually, in the year 2008, due to financial bubble, I have lost almost 85% of my investment. In the second instance, a couple of years back, I was diagnosed with hypertension, and this was a big setback for me. Doctor recommended a lifelong medication. He went on to warn me that I shouldn't stop the drug as it would have a severe impact on my blood pressure. Precisely at this point, my inner voice told me that I should alter my lifestyle and start exercising on a regular basis, which probably changes the situation. Since then, I've started running on a daily basis, and now I am a marathoner with 7 marathons already under my belt and could able to run 10 kilometers under 1 hour. And there were 2 examples. The first one is the untamed inner voice, and in the second example, it is the inner voice as my coach. Hope you might have got the clear distinction between both. Further, for the benefit of you to make you understand and experience it personally and better, let me give you all a simple exercise. I want you to take 30 seconds and think about this question. When was the last time you felt stressed, pressurized, or anxiety? I want you to write that situation down. Chances are it probably happened today. So here's what I want you to do now. Underneath what you wrote down, I want you to answer this question. Please write down about the one what you were worried about. What about that situation caused you to feel stress, pressure, or anxiety? All right. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to tell you what you're thinking about. Anytime we feel stress, pressure, or anxiety, we are thinking of one or two things. Either the future, something that could happen, or we are thinking about the past, something that has happened. So here's what I was wanting you to do. I want you to think the thought about something in the future or the past. Funny how that works, doesn't it? As a coach, I firmly believe that we shouldn't focus on the past or the future. We should stay focused on the present. So when we focus in on the present, we focus on the things that we can control. One shouldn't care about the result, but as long as we have no regrets and we want to make sure we have put all our efforts without any doubts. As most of us are more worried about the result rather than the efforts. Most often, we hear that a leader is the one who chases the goal. If you look at the definition of goal, it's the result to which the effort is aimed to. When you focus on goals, you focus on results. Moreover, if you think about it, results are frequently outside of our control. The second part of the definition, the effort aimed at the result, we call this the process. Also, your process is what drives the result. Don't take me wrong, by any stretch of an imagination, I'm not suggesting you to not set goals. In fact, what I was trying to tell you is one can have the goal of beginning an accomplished leader, but there's a process to get there, and your focus needs to be on that. So, if you set the goals, what do you need to focus is on the process. I hope you understand that. Let me take a step back. Do you know what I struggled with when I was young? Focusing on the process. When I entered the profession, I had two goals. The first goal is I wanted to get a managerial position within 2 years of starting my career. The second goal was I wanted to be a journal head by the time I turned 30. That means I have to work 3 to 4 times harder than my peers to get these two promotions. Now that's interesting. If you look at these goals, each one of these things are outside of my control. I can't control whether or not my seniors recommend me for the desired role. That's their opinion. I can't control the market dynamics vis-a-vis with my sales targets. Also, I certainly can't control whether or not my colleagues and peers underperform as compared to me. You know what my issue was? My thoughts were always in the future. I saw all these dreams inside my head. Moreover, I am worried about whether or not I have it what it makes to get there. Can you relate this? When I look back in reference to today's world and the advances executive coaching is making in helping executives to challenge, I sincerely feel that I have missed this during my early part of the career. Basing on my past experience and now being a coach, my sincere suggestion is the best way to get the next position is to do a fantastic job where you are. I believe that people talk that there's the sky and is unbelievable. Moreover, I think excellence is hard to keep quiet. A greatest tip for success is there are no shortcuts. There's no magic pill. Nobody is going to give you anything. Also, whenever it is that you do have an opportunity and you're given a chance, you have to be prepared because you don't know when that opportunity is going to come. You have to make for that every day. One thing I would strongly recommend is that success should be part of your daily agenda. Let me share you a very simple and a fantastic exercise with you. I want you to document in a book every single thing that you do throughout the day. Also, at the end of the night, before you go to bed, you should review all the activities and you have to pick two things that you will get better at for tomorrow. Moreover, the whole idea is to improve 6% each day. Through this exercise, you're focusing your efforts on the process, not on the result. You may be wondering if there is anything else that is driving the process. That's interesting. Yes, there is something else that's driving the process. Also, that is your character. Now, when I say that, that word means so many different things to so many different people. Moreover, there are two types of characters. The first type is what we call performance character. Also, these are the character skills that govern your relationship with yourself. These are the things that will make you to get up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning to prepare for your urgent meeting. The second kind of character is what we call moral character. These are the character skills that govern your relationship with others. These are the things that make you a great professional and a great leader. Let me now summarize and bring all this together, helping you build your inner coach. Imagine if you use your inner coach to help you create all of these things, how much better would you be? So, how does all of this tie together? We want to develop our inner coach. Also, great coaches begin with the end in mind. So, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what am I trying to accomplish? Is it to improve your profession, money, relationally, with your outcomes? Once you have that clearly, you then move to the process and ask yourself, what's my plan? How am I going to make that happen? After you have that, you then ask yourself, what are the character skills that I'll need to use and develop? Let me put this into perspective by sharing you my personal experience as how to convert your inner conscious into your coach. I was coaching the senior professional who is struggling to move ahead in his career. And I told him, if I don't help you build your inner coach, I failed you. So I asked him, what are you struggling with? You know what he told me? He says, I have got 3 on a scale of 0 to 5 in the last appraisal, and I need to get it up to 5 to move ahead in my career. I said, here's what we are going to do. I'm going to be you, and I want you to be your inner coach. I want you to give me an advice on how you're going to raise that scale of your appraisal. You know what he said? He said, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to schedule a meeting with your supervisor once in a month. Second thing, you need to create schedules of delivery and process maps of all work streams so that you can remember the tasks and complete them in a timely fashion. Also, the third thing, you need to quit procrastinating. You need to start expanding your knowledge beyond your scope. Moreover, you're going to work on your discipline and your accountability. You may be wondering, in the above example, I think that's a better advice that I could have ever given to him. Also, he is giving it to himself. However, what's funny is, I've asked him this, do you speak to me with more respect than you speak to yourself? He smiled because he is so hard on himself. How many of you can relate to that? So what we do as we move through this sequence and we don't hit the result that we are shooting for. Going through experiences is our best teacher. I think I know if I mess up, I learn from it and get better. We need to turn results into learning experiences. What we typically do, our identity is wrapped up in a result. So if you had a bad day at the office, you feel terrible about yourself and you are only as good as your last performance, as long as you are on an emotional roller coaster. So how can we turn those results into learning experiences? Here is an exercise which you can do after an extraordinary meeting, excellent review with your senior, great sales call, successful client visit, whatever it is. When you have your results, you can ask yourself this question: what did I do well and why? You can take the success and focus on why, because when you focus on the why, you can then repeat that in the future. Then you can ask yourself this question: what could I do better and how? Also, by asking how, you take the focus off the mistake and focus on how you're going to improve it for the next time. Let me conclude by saying this. What I hope by now is that you have a better understanding of how important it is to build your inner coach. So you focus less on the result and more on the process. Moreover, you use your inner coach to develop your character. Winning is not a result, victory is a process that's driven by character. Thank you all for tuning in. Do visit our website www.nirveda.com. Would appreciate if you subscribe to our podcast, like it on iTunes, and share it to your fellow leaders. It would be one of the greatest motivators for us to bring in such informative episodes in the future.